Hey guys, it's Bill Straub with Modern Thirst, and I'm back with another blind tasting for you. Last time we did 3 bourbons, and it was pretty popular, got some good response. This time we're going to do 3 ryes. Once again, I love to do blind tastings. It's the far and away the most honest way to review whiskey. You don't have any prejudices based on the label or whether or not somebody gave it to you for free. You just don't know what it is, so all you really have to go on is your senses, smell and taste, and to some degree appearance. So I kind of thought I would go ahead and get started. With a little ado here, no ado. Again, I don't know what these are. I have a kind of a grab bag of 2-ounce samples that I like to throw aside after I've tried something. So I pulled these out randomly, and they're numbered, so I'll jump here on my computer and be able to let you know what they are after I taste. This one, very sweet. Banana, lots and lots of citrus on there. Ooh, that's good. Kind of jelly bean flavor on there, that candy fruit. A lot of baking spices. This is a very typical rye. I mean, it smells like it's a probably Indiana rye. Yeah, it's really good. A lot of banana nut bread on that one. Fruit kind of comes in around the finish, but by and large, I think the actual sip is pretty more like baked goods. I typically get more of that in a bourbon than a rye, but this was really good. I really like it. And it's got some good kick to it. A little bit, get a little bit of that almost graininess at the end, so it may not be very old. I would guess 5 or 6 years at most. I'm going to go ahead and move on to number 2. Comparatively speaking, lighter in color. Ooh. There's definitely a youthful note on those of this one. This is a lot brighter in character on the nose. Last one had all that sweet, savory baking goods and baking spices, and this one is all fruit and pepper. Maybe a little bit of corn. Tells me it's probably a Kentucky rye, and in case you don't know, one of the biggest ways to tell the difference between an Indiana and Kentucky rye is ryes made in Kentucky traditionally are kind of the inverse of the bourbon mash bill. So where bourbon would be, you have to be 51% corn. Typically they're going to be around 70-75%. Our ryes tend to kind of follow that if you flip it, where the rye is anywhere from 51 to 75% rye as opposed to corn. The Indiana stuff is a little bit different. Up at MGP, they traditionally did a 95% rye and 5% malted barley, so you don't get that corn sweetness on the nose with them. So it's kind of an easy way to tell whether or not it's MGP. And I only bring that up because so much rye out there is MGP, and there's a reason for that. Number one, they made a lot of it back in the day, and they didn't have their own labels to sell it under. But number two, it's really good. I'd have to say that MGP rye is probably my favorite rye mash bill out there. A lot of people use that mash bill now, even people in Kentucky, so it can throw you off, but the Kentucky stuff still seems to be pretty young. So really, if you find that with a little age on it right now, it's probably MGP. And this one is throwing me a little bit. There's a grassy note to it, grainy note, which typically means that it's young, and the grains are kind of showing through. But there's an underlying kind of caramel corn to it. So maybe something from Kentucky, but something young. I really hope this isn't Old Forester, because I really like Old Forester. And I'm not loving the smell of this. It's almost slightly medicinal when those two kind of competing flavors, the young versus the corn, tend to come together. Yeah, it's very grassy. Doesn't hold candle to the last one. I don't know if it's proof or not. I would guess it'd around 100 proof. Don't think it's Old Forester. I hope not, because I'm telling everybody to buy Old Forester lately. Old Forester rye. It's just a little flat in comparison to the first one. That is kind of a danger of doing these blind. I can't control whether I'm drinking lower proof first or higher proof. I don't want to put the proof on the bottle because a lot of times that'll give away what it is. But yeah, all in all, I would say that there's a little bit of bitterness to it. There's a little bit of barrel tannins on that, and I don't mean that as an extra age. I just mean that there's this almost unrefined alcohol quality with a little bit of notes from the barrel. So it's a little bit young. It's not a bad rye. I'm going to try it again just to make sure. I'm going to guess younger. Like a slight hint of bubble gum. A little black pepper too, so, I mean, yeah, I think if I probably drank this one first, I probably would like it a lot, but it just doesn't hold a candle to the first one. I kind of can't wait to see what that first one was, because I really, really like that, more than typical. Typically, I'm a bourbon guy. I do like the rye recipe bourbons. That's not bad. Ooh. Spicy. So this one, a lot of spiciness on this, and that's a black pepper, white pepper, paprika, just a hint of citrus on it. That's throwing me for a loop. This might be one of the weird ones for that it out from some place kind of different. Lots of black pepper. I mean, it is overpowering black pepper on this one. Whew. It tastes a little bit like MGP. I think it's that 95.5 mash bill, but it wouldn't surprise me if this was something younger, almost a rabbit hole, or maybe somebody just kind of emulating that mash bill with a different yeast strain or something, because there's some similarities, but really overpowering black pepper is the main component here. This is a really good rye too. I'm going to guess 4 years old, and I don't really know which one that would be, but yeah. It's definitely not I don't think it's a Kentucky rye. I don't get any of the sweetness of corn in there. So if it is a Kentucky rye, it's one of the newer distilleries that have started emulating that MGP mash bill. Maybe a High West where they blended MGP with something else. Very good. All in all, that first one though, easily the best. And I'm going to go back and try that one again just to make sure. I'll kind of go backwards here and try all three. Yeah, my only complaint with this third one, it's a little one-dimensional with the black pepper. You don't really get that candied citrus until the finish. Those are kind of the lemon drops and orange zest, almost gumball kind of fruit flavors like you would get in an Easter basket or something. It's kind of drowned out on the palate by the black pepper, by the barrel tannins. You get the fruit on tail end and on the finish. I'd like more of that on the palate. We're back to number 2. A little better, it's a little sweeter this time around. Kind of warmed up the palate a bit, so it'll be interesting to see if that number 1 is still my favorite coming backwards. Right now, if I had to say, I would guess 1, 3, 2. I'm really interested to see what that is. That number 3. It's not the traditional MGP flavors, but it's kind of similar. It's in the ballpark. So, oh yeah, bananas. That's a good whiskey. That's really good. I kind of feel like when ryes are done poorly, they're just okay at best. They tend to be, because it's rye, which is a little bit it's a little bit more complex of a grain. It tends to be a little simpler on the palate. It tends to be a little thinner in terms of mouthfeel compared to a wheated whiskey or a wheated bourbon. So a rye bourbon tends to have a little bit less viscous mouthfeel to me. When you get into rye whiskeys, it's exacerbated even more. So like 95.5 rye has a very thin mouthfeel. So I really love those barrels that have just a little bit of age. You get a little bit more of those oils from the barrel in there. And that's what this smells like. I'm getting hints of cocoa, chocolate on this as well. I still get tons of banana. It's almost like a Bananas Foster. This is really sweet for a rye. In that regard, it reminds me a little bit of a bourbon. Yeah, that's really good. That's the star of the show here. So I'm going to check them out. So number one was 19. And 19 is Sagamore Barrel Proof. Interesting. It's batch 4A, 112.2 proof. Sagamore is in fact MGP. Don't have an age listed on the spreadsheet here, so it's probably not age stated. I'd guess 5 to 6 years probably, but batch 4A. Yeah, that's really good. That Sagamore, I don't remember what I rated that or if I rated that at all. As a matter of fact, we may have just done a cocktail article on that one. That's really good. 112.2 proof, batch 4A. If you can come across a cask strength Sagamore, pick it up. So number two is 22. Looking on the spreadsheet, 22. High West Double Rye, 2016 bottling. Batch 17A03. That's 92 proof. Interesting. So this is a blend of, was it 2-year-old and 16-year-old or something like that? I don't remember. I think it might be their own distillate and then 16-year-old Kentucky rye. I remember really, really liking that when I tried it, when I reviewed it. Next to these other two, it doesn't stack up. I don't know if it's because it's 92 proof. I don't know what that third one is yet. I'm going to guess it's 105, somewhere in there, a little over 100. But yeah, High West Double Rye, I really like it. I think it's one of those that if you need a solid rye to have on your bar that you can usually find, at least around here, that's a great option. So it didn't do as well here. It just doesn't stack up. It's not as, it doesn't have the depth of flavors that the other two have, and there's that weird kind of competing youth to it. And I guess that's because maybe they shied a lot towards that, was it 2 or 3 or 4? I'll have to look that up. But there's a young whiskey and an old whiskey mixed together to make double rye, and hence the name double rye. So the third one, 32. Goodness gracious, I have at least 32 ryes, don't I? Oh, well, I have a lot of ryes. Rossville Union Barrel Proof, oh my gosh, that's 112.6 proof. I kind of laughed because I questioned whether that was MGP, and I thought they might be sourcing juice from Kentucky Distillery or somebody that emulates an MGP mash bill. But not only is it MGP juice, it's the brand owned by MGP. So yeah, I really like that when it came out too. It's not as good as the Sagamore, the first one. Yeah, that's really interesting. I would have thought that MGP would have saved their best barrels, that they would have blended them the best, known their stuff better than anyone else. But what it looks like to me, Sagamore got a hold of some great barrels. They did a great blending job with it. Almost the same proof, right? What was that? 112.2 versus this one is 112.6, so it's almost the same proof. The Sagamore has a lot more depth of flavor to it. The Rossville Union's a little bit one-dimensional. It's just overpowering black pepper. I find that really interesting because I loved Rossville Union when it came out. Loved it. Sagamore, I'm going to have to look for some more bottles of that barrel strength because I think I'm out. I'll have to check around on that. But so there you go. I'd rank this Sagamore cask strength rye number 1 easily. The number 2 is the Rossville Union Barrel Proof. And number 3 is the High West Double Rye. That's from 2016. I know they're kind of changing their what's in their blends now as their stuff is maturing, that they're distilling themselves, and I'm guessing that what they've purchased and sourced in the past is probably kind of nearing the end of its life cycle with them. But I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please consider supporting us on Patreon. We do this all on our own. If you check out our website at ModernThirst.com, we have hundreds of whiskeys reviewed for you. Got everything from Scotch to some Taiwanese and Indian whiskey to tons of bourbons and ryes from the United States reviewed. And we try to do more videos for you. I try to do videos in particular. I've been writing for a long time, so I'm leaving the written word to most of my other folks. So thank you so much for watching. If you like it, please like the video and subscribe. And we hope you enjoy it. Cheers.